Secretary Doug Collins. Good to see you.
Hey, Bianca, it's good to see you as well. Hope all was good.
Yeah. Everything is great, and congratulations. We haven't spoken since your appointment, so we know you have a plan. You just outlined some of it. Obviously, the last administration, we know there were so many mistakes, but tell us what you are trying to fix now, and what really the plan is, and something that we'll see tangible, because I know that you were just outlining it's about organization. They seem to have no organization at all when it comes to our brave soldiers and our heroes.
Yeah, you would be amazed, Bianca, what we found coming here. Look, I got a lot of great folks who work for the VA. There's some wonderful employees. But what we have found is there was just seemingly a lack of what we'll call structural awareness. And when you look at that, you add things that don't need to be added in ways and places it shouldn't have been added. And it took away from probably places where we could have done better, which is veterans care, health care, and also veterans benefits. There's a way to fix this, and I think this is something we need to understand. Organizational restructuring, yes, it may mean downsizing, it may be consolidation of departments, but what it actually means is that we're putting more focus on the target, which is helping veterans. We're not an employment agency, we're a service organization, and I think that's what the big difference was, is there just seemingly was a hands-off sort of laissez-faire attitude about, well, we'll just let the employees and let the individual silos build up, and it's okay because everybody picks on the VA anyway. Well, that ended in the 1st of February. I do not allow people to tell stories about the VA that are not true, and I definitely don't let people scare my veterans and scare my employees. That's just not going to happen. We're going to get it fixed because President Trump wants to get it fixed, and that's what he told me to do.
You know, you talk about scaring. I mean, a lot of this comes from just erroneous reports in legacy media. And that's really, the narrative that they've been kind of trying to push, whether it be with, cuts to, DOGE is making. You've been really vocal. There was one exchange here that I want to play. It was an exchange you had with a military.com reporter, and really this is what it is. They come at it with such a negative misconception, preconception here. You really had to set it straight. I want to play this exchange here because at least you got through to this person, Secretary.
No, I want to hear the answer first. Are you committing not to do rumors? Because you're scaring my VA employees about this.
That's fair.
And you're scaring my veterans.
Yeah,
that's unforgivable. That's not something I take lightly.
But if a rumor is different than if I have a source.
Then you source it to our PR people and let them know. Because you know something? I've got people who are reporting stuff right now who aren't even calling us. They don't even get.
I bring this up obviously because everyone saw you kind of, push back on Caitlin Collins and CNN because they weren't even asking. We were asking about something you weren't even involved in. I mean, right. It's a challenge already with what you're dealing with. And then layer on the media. I guess, are they not doing their prep? The challenge that you have in trying to, get truth and transparency out there seems to be complicated by what's going on here with some of the big media folks. And I just would love your perspective on what they need to do to cover this accurately, because people could be scared by this type of, fear mongering.
Yeah, my first idea would actually have them go back and ask for a refund from their journalism school, because undoubtedly they didn't understand that had you go to actually sourcing places and actually getting real feedback. I've got media outlets right now that are chasing down what is basically a fraudulent document about the RIF organization, the reorganization here, and yet again they just they chase it in the innuendo and rumor. Bianca, I was a volunteer fireman for several years when I was much younger, and I thought about going back home. I haven't been home but once really since I came up here. I thought about going back home and just bringing my outfit back up here, bringing my fire helmet, bringing my clothes back, because that's all I do is put out fires. And it's not fires that is helping us. It's fires. Look, journalism is a great thing. It is something that is very important to the American people. But when it's agenda driven, when it's rumor driven, when it's a more click kind of orientation to get a story. I mean, when you start a story, in one of the clips you just showed, this reporter actually started the story was basically rumor has it. I thought Adele sang songs about that, not put them in journalism pieces.
Yeah, you're right. And it really is such a travesty because there's so much good work that's happening very quickly under this administration. And we talked about the successful Houthi mission, but they didn't want to go there and they wanted to drag you into it.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.